Hello everyone, and this is my review for Night of Champions 2014, and, in all honesty, there were some highs, and definitely some lows with with this pay-per-view from WWE. High points, I would say, would be the first two matches of the night with Goldust, Stardust, and the Usos. I felt like that was a really good tag team match. They've done a really good job building it up throughout the weeks, with the Usos' leg injury and everything, and then they even kind of played a role reversal where they were trying to injure Stardust's leg during the match. I liked some of the stuff that they did in there in terms of storytelling, and of course having Goldust and Stardust actually win the match came off as you can continue on with this feud, especially at least for a automatic rematch at some point down the road. And then the next match was Cesaro and Sheamus for the United States title. I thought it was just a really good match, and that's pretty much where they told their entire story, because they didn't really have much build-up for that match. You had to get any kind of story from them in the match itself, which was pretty much, the definition of both of those characters of, being hard-hitting and physical type matches. So that was a really good one in there. The other real high point of the show was the whole Seth Rollins coming out and dealing with the whole fact that Roman Reigns got injured, had to go in for emergency surgery for a hernia. Hopefully he won't be out for too long. Good thing that everything went well with Reigns' surgery as well. And the subsequent you need a feud for Seth Rollins. Well, we'll re-put Dean Ambrose back in there, which, that feud never really technically ended, because you would figure when they wanted to bring back Dean Ambrose, he would be going straight after Seth Rollins for what he did with the Cinder Blocks deal, and they decided to go with having him come back tonight. And that was another high point of the show, was Dean Ambrose's return to go out there and brawl with Seth Rollins. I thought that was an extremely fun segment, albeit just a segment, not a match itself, which is what you would really want from a pay-per-view, is some matches in there. But fun segment to a fun segment to watch in general there. Other than that, I would say I really wouldn't put most of the matches in the low point, but I would definitely put them just in the okay section. The match with Rusev and Mark Henry was just okay. I kind of liked what they were doing there and trying to show a different side of Mark Henry and everything. The match itself, it didn't really they didn't do a good enough job trying to build up that Rusev was in any kind of danger inside of that match. It wasn't like his matches with Jack Swagger, where they had a pretty good build-up that it's like Jack Swagger's almost got the win, and then Rusev pulls it out. They didn't really pull that off here with the Mark Henry deal. The Triple Threat Divas title match was, again, okay. I thought it was a little slow-paced, and I feel like they had a little bit of an issue trying to figure out where they were supposed to be for certain spots during the match. You could definitely tell they seemed a little bit lost in there. And then, of course, of course, they're going with this whole pass the title back and forth between Paige and AJ. So obviously, they're going to be keeping that storyline going as long as they can, especially with the fact that you have the Bella feud to go along with that, and they just added that into the mix for this one. Even though you didn't, outside of a backstage interview, you didn't really have anything from Brie Bella in there. It was just, it seemed pointless to have Nikki Bella inside of that match for any way, shape, or form. The match with Randy Orton and Chris Jericho, it was a really good match, but like I had said in past Raw reviews, I feel like that feud was it was built way too fast, and it seemed utterly pointless for them to be having a match at this point in time. So it was what it was. It was a really good match, but it really didn't do anything storyline-wise for anything. Of course, the main event itself, I felt the main event, like last month, I felt they did what they needed to do. Last month they needed to build Brock Lesnar as this unstoppable beast, and basically squashing John Cena. Now with this pay-per-view, you would figure, okay, John Cena is going to get some kind of redemption in some way, shape, or form, or at least he's going to have a better, like they're going to put him in a better standing and a better showing. Not necessarily give him the title, which of course they did. They just had to end with DQ. I wasn't really too fond of a DQ finish, but it was what it was there, and they at least pulled it out in the end where, even though John Cena seemed to have the advantage, not for the entire match, I liked what they did during the match where, Cena would get a flurry and then Lesnar would just stop it. Cena would get a flurry and then Lesnar would just stop it. Stop each flurry here and there until towards the end. And then, of course, you even put Brock Lesnar over more by having to take the finishers multiple times to even try to put him away, and then of course he would never tap out to the STF, and that definitely put him over a lot more in that sense as well, just for the aspect that he's not just a brutalizer and basically goes out there and squashes you, but if he's getting attacked in any way, he's pretty much in trouble and would not be able to win. So that it shows like a durability side to him in that sense. And then of course they put him over, Brock over in the end as well, by him having the final word before the pay-per-view went off the air with the F5. So it was what it was. The pay-per-view itself, it had its highs, it has lows, and probably the worst low out of the entire show was just how the WWE decided it was a good idea to make mention to people who are buying on pay-per-view that they spent $54.99 when they could be going for the WWE Network there. That's just slapping those people in the face, because in some of those cases, cable or satellite's the only way they can go, because maybe they don't have fast enough internet within their area to even make it worth their while to get the WWE Network or anything like that. It was just a big slap in the face to the fans that are forced to stick with the cable and satellite for the time being, because WWE's network is not on a cable premium channel. It's only based around internet streaming. If you have good internet, you can almost even put okay internet in there. But if you'll be fine with the WWE Network and watching the pay-per-views on there, watching their shows. But if you have bad internet in your area, it's not even really an option, and this is their only option, and now you're just slapping them in the face for doing that. So I really don't know why they continually do this on the pay-per-views itself. But they continue to do it. I know they're trying to sell the network, but it definitely slaps the face of certain fan points where they don't have good internet and they can't really rely on that to stream the shows itself. So they might even lose out on pay-per-view buys in that sense as well, for the time being. But yeah, overall, the pay-per-view was what it was. It definitely felt like a B-rated pay-per-view this time around. It wasn't really all that good. You did at least get the title changes. Of course, they had the Miz also winning. I consider that not the Miz winning a low point, but just the match itself. You had the Florida Georgia line in there, basically promoting that they're going to be singing a tribute to the troops. They could have done this in some other way other than having them out there for commentary and actually getting involved during the match. But it was what it was. And then, of course, the cheap win at the end as well. So, that match as well, it wasn't really all that good. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't feel like it was anything special to anything to their storyline, because you had to get this band inside of there as well. So that's my review for the Night of Champions 2014 pay-per-view, and I thank you guys for watching.